Hello, welcome to Empires of Today. I'm your host, Rafa Riasa. Been a little while since we've gotten together. Here are four topics. We're going to cover them for 90 seconds or less each. Let's get going with the conflict in Iran. So, the conflict has officially begun again, even though the Memorandum of Understanding is technically still in place. What's really going on is that strikes have been exchanged. Both Iran and the US have been attacking each other. Trump has decided that they were going to re implement the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and that the U.S. has full control of the Strait of Hormuz. So that they are claiming that the administration is going to be charging a 20% fee for any ships attempting to transit the strait. This is in order to pay for the fact that they're being kept safe. As far as how this is exactly going to work, we're still not extremely clear on how that's going to work. Of course, there are still some ships going through the strait, but it is significantly less than there was before. In addition, the former president of Iran has been put on house arrest. It turns out that he was part of some conspiracy with the Israelis in order to take over the government, in order to put him in place of the IRGC, which is essentially controlling everything right now in Iran. And at this point, we just have to wait and see how this is going to develop. Of course, gas prices are going up, but we shall see how much longer this is going to take. As far as what happened in Venezuela, it's been a little while since two twin earthquakes hit Venezuela. That was both above a 7.2 on the Richter scale. This is extremely detrimental for the country. There's been confirmed almost 5,000 dead. There's over 10,000 missing, and the entire area of La Guaira, which is on right on the coast of Caracas, has essentially been demolished. What we're seeing is that rescue teams have been being sent into these areas. There have been rescues going on, but it does look like the coordination is just lackluster at best. There's definitely an amount of machinery, definitely an amount of resources that people there do not have in order to effectively rescue the people who are under the rubble at this point. Of course, anybody who has survived this long likely is not alive or won't be saved. This is obviously extremely terrible for the country of Venezuela. And of course, all our prayers are with the people over there. As far as the political fallout which has occurred since then, the former opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, is attempting to get into the country, has not been allowed into the country by the government. The government has, it seems, been essentially making the job more difficult for any of the rescuers who are coming in from other countries. Apparently, there was a group of 80 Swiss rescuers who were able to locate a good amount of people who were stuck under the rubble still alive, but because they were blocked by the Venezuelan government, the socialist government, from reaching the areas in time, those people did all die. Obviously, the Venezuelan government is continuously proving itself to be unable to handle essentially any situation, particularly a situation as volatile as the twin earthquakes that hit Caracas. At this point, we don't know what the political situation is going to look like. Delcy Rodriguez's 180-day mandate is over, and at this point, there is no constitutional backing for her remaining in power. So it really is up to essentially the international community to step in and see how it can assist with a political transition. And of course, aid actually going in and seeing how this damage can be fixed, how the area that was destroyed can be rebuilt. And of course, once again, all our prayers are out with Venezuela and the people out there. Now, in some lighter news, it turns out that the conspiracy for who was going to win the World Cup is completely dead. Um, Mexico did not advance, Portugal did not advance, and really any of the host countries did not advance. So in terms of that conspiracy, there's absolutely no backing for it left. What is interesting is what has been going on with these VAR systems. So if any of you have been keeping up with the games, this VAR system has been used multiple times to annul goals, which have been extremely controversial and of course make uh, you know, pretty wild calls, as was done with the U.S. With Balogun, who got a red card after a significant amount of time had passed in the game, and then of course it was reviewed through the VAR, leading to a red card. What was interesting about that situation is, of course, that it appears that Trump personally called the FIFA president and worked with some officials to get that red card overturned. The first time in well over 50 years that this has ever happened in the World Cup. Of course, Belgium went on to win that game regardless, 4-1, even with Balogun present. But what this shows is that regardless of the conspiracy with who was going to win, there's still quite a bit of controversy in regards to the World Cup. There's a lot of other issues that are going around. You know, apparently Norway actually did win that game in multiple situations and was not given the win. Of course, the situation that happened with Egypt and Argentina. So FIFA is still not without its controversy, and I guess we'll just have to see who actually ends up winning. My money personally is on France. Let me know what you all think. Well, thanks for coming out to the show. Once again, appreciate you all coming here. If you would like to donate to the situation in Venezuela, we do have some links to an organization which all the money is going to go directly to the survivors and, of course, the rebuilding. No fluff there. It's all going directly to these people. That link is right in the description, and I hope to see you again next time.